Welcome to the 888.com World Snooker Championship at the Crucible, Sheffield. Last year, Graham Dodd captured the sport's ultimate title. This time he faced a determined Ian McCulloch in the first round. Dodd was clearly under pressure and was soon on his way home to Scotland. Surprisingly beaten 10-7. What a difference a year makes. I'm afraid it was. Taxi for Dodd. There was equal frustration for the double world champion Mark Williams, who lost 10-9 to Joe Swail. The end of a miserable season. But what a crucible debut for Mark Allen, the surprise conqueror of Ken Doherty. Those veterans, Steve Davis and John Parrott, went to the wire. Davis was his usual determined self. But this Parrott wouldn't be knocked off his perch. The Liverpudlian squeezed through 10-9. Bragging rights secured. 17-year-old Judd Trump made quite an impression on his first taste of the Crucible's unique atmosphere. But there was to be no fairy tale debut. Judd was trumped by 2005 champion Shaun Murphy, 10-6 the final scoreline. It was 10-7 for Peter Ebdon, last year's beaten finalist, over Nigel Bond. John Higgins played a solid second session to brush past a demoralised Michael Holt. And although Stephen Hendry made a slew of mistakes, struggling quite clearly with a new cue, he did enough to avoid a major upset against Dave Gilbert. There was immense interest in Ding Junhui back in China, but the journalists from the People's Republic reported only bad news. Their man foundered. Ronnie O'Sullivan's concentration was briefly affected by cameramen, but it was soon regained. Ding, plenty of exposure, but beaten in a flash. 10-2. The dust having settled on a first round that few could have predicted, there's a series of eye-catching encounters in the last 16. Among them, Stephen Maguire against Joe Swail. Poor Ronnie O'Sullivan. After dispatching Ding so convincingly, another dangerous potter stands in his way. That's Australia's Neil Robertson, a double world ranking tournament winner this season. Mark Allen, who beat Ken Doherty in the first round, must bridge another immense gulf in Crucible experience when he takes on Matthew Stevens, while Shaun Murphy tackles veteran campaigner John Parrott. And in the bottom quarter of the draw, Peter Ebdon, the beaten finalist last year, and Stephen Hendry, 7 times a Crucible champion, will be taking absolutely nothing for granted. First we concentrate on Maguire and Swail. Now the length of match is increased to the best of 25 frames. Here's the first with Clive Everton and Neil Folds to be found in the commentary box.
Not the most impressive start from Maguire, catching the end red so thin that the cue ball went the wrong side of the blue.
It's amazing really, isn't it? The amount of times a player would break off in the same way in his career, but you never get it quite the same twice.
Nice cannon to flick the second red away from the black.
Doesn't really like the angle here. If he's going to pop this and get on the red, he's got to use a bit of left-hand running side. which he doesn't maybe feel like he wants to do at this stage. He took a chance by playing a cannon. I think the shot with left-hand running was on, but
8.
maybe he wasn't quite confident to play a shot like that so early.
Yes, the reason that players are reluctant to play with off-centre striking is that if you use left-hand side, for example, the cue ball pushes off the other way to start with, then comes back. Especially difficult to judge on a light cloth like this.
60.
Tremendous shot there from Joe. He's almost continuing where he left off the other night. I thought he played a wonderful last frame against Mark Williams. When the pressure was on, just didn't miss a ball, especially his long potting. He never led in that mesh until the actual 10-9 win. He was always behind. I think he started the session badly and just got better and better, Clive, that day.
Well, frequently Joe Swail is inspired at the Crucible. Some of his best performances have come here.
8.
Twice a semi-finalist.
24.
Yes, he's a player that you sometimes see struggle in qualifiers. Doesn't always get the best of results, and you don't see him in his best light maybe in qualifiers where there's not too many in by way of spectators. He likes the big stage, that's for sure. This is tricky. If he can get to this, I think he's got a good chance of potting it and staying on the black, but it's just awkward cueing. Well, he could have held for the red along the cushion, but
32.
I've seen one or two of those missed
33.
throughout this championship, at least. Started very confidently as Joe. Well, this time he has played on it. I don't think he had much of an alternative.
40. 41.
6 reds and the 6th black coming up. Beautifully judged cannon.
48. Sure. 49.
3.
Well, he can stay on blacks if he wants to here.
56.
He's got the angle on this red to the right centre to come down for the black again.
57.
Let's get the financials out of the way. £147,000 for a maximum. A further £10,000 for the highest break.
$64.
But unless there's a red that is possible to right middle, which there is, That would have been end of break.
Yes, it's on, but it's tricky. And the fact that he's very close to the red, if he has to just flick a little bit aside to straighten up the angle, he could probably do it easier being so close. Yes.
This is an authentic maximum attempt now.
And that could be an excellent shot. If he's straight on this red,
72.
in the centre of the 3, well, he's got a slide angle. He might nudge one out. Oh, yes,
73.
that's an excellent shot. Well, as Clive said, the red's all in the centre of the table, and they all go. Vitally important to keep top side of the reds every
80.
time. And he's done that again.
$81.
Not so good.
88.
No, and I'm not sure if he's straight enough on the red now, because if he doesn't have a straightish angle, then I'm not sure how he can get onto the black from this. Well, there you see, he's not straight enough. This is not straightforward now. It's a pity, because it was an excellent chance. It's not over yet, because Joe, pretty inspirational player, isn't he? I'm sure he's capable of pulling something out. Top spin through the red and the pink. Wonderful effort.
89.
Do you play the black here? I think you probably have to knock the pink in and make 146, Clive.
Well, that would be a good front runner for the highest break prize of £10,000.
It's a rarer break in snooker, isn't it? You don't see 146 breaks, but you don't get as much money for making them either. What would you do? I think I'll try knocking the pink now, because I think the black is just a little too difficult. It's not only the pot that's hard, but finishing on a red, it wouldn't be guaranteed. Stephen Maguire would like to see his opponent make a 147, I'm sure of that. Frame is over.
I don't think there's ever been a 146 at the Crucible.
As I say, it's not a break that you see often in major tournaments. I think it was the right shot, that.
95. 96.
Yes, £10,000 is not to be sniffed at, if indeed he does clear up with 146. And that remains the highest break.
103.
But what an effort. First visit to the table this morning for Swail. Pouncing on a substandard break-off shot from Maguire.
$104.
He's hit one shot slightly wrong, and that was where he lost position from black to red. Every other shot has been perfect, and Stephen Maguire realised, I think, that he's got a bit of a handful.
Joe Swail.
What a shame that he should miss something so easy. Still, 104 first shot. Can't be bad. Joe Swail leads Stephen Maguire by a frame to
Quietly,
nil.
please.
After that though, Maguire began to seize control, and as we rejoin play for frame 14, he leads 8-5. Now joining Clive Everton, Terry Griffiths.
And things are running for Swail. Took the bull by the horn there. Potted the red and split the bunch of reds out. He couldn't really get anything, but somehow or other the white has gone through the pack and he's left himself a pink in the middle.
Albeit with awkward queuing.
Joe Swail 1.
It was awkward, but it wasn't that awkward. He only had to play it gently. You could see half the white there, so to speak, over that red, but he played it too slow, and then it catches the nap of the cloth and pulls in towards the near knuckle. Chance gone by.
Yes, there isn't a whole lot of nap on the cloth, but at that speed, just enough to pull the pink on the near jaw. And worse still, of course.
8.
He left Maguire
9.
the position he would have had.
Bit of disturbance there with loud applause from the other table.
Quietly,
Stephen Maguire's
please.
out of position here. I don't know if it was the noise that disturbed him or just the shot he played, but he's taken on the more difficult red now. Thin one into the corner. Should make it. Pink's on the middle.
Pretty similar to the cut-back black that Steve Davis missed right at the death of the 85 final.
Circumstances are slightly different, Clive. He's looking at the more difficult blue. You can pot the pink, but he'd be losing the cue ball possibly. So quite a positive shot this. Played it really well.
$22. $23.
This is just what Maguire needs. He totalled only 9 points in the previous 3 frames.
Played for the gap there and he got through it, but he wouldn't have minded just touching the red on the below the pink spot to open those up.
31.
And that was a poor shot. He's come too low on this black. Straightforward shot. He paid it a bit quickly. And so easy to slip out of position. He'll do well to pot this and hold for the reds. He's trying to look here at the cannon at that group of 4 there. But it's thin cut. Very well played. He had to catch that just right.
38.
See there, too much pace and the spin wouldn't have had time to take.
39. 45. $46.
Ideally, he'd like to play for the red, just below the pink. Not sure if he's got the angle for that. Thought to bring another one into play with the cannon.
53. $54.
Bad contact there. You watch here now, these the white kicked, I think, when he hit the second red. That's taken a good 3 or 4 inches out of the run of the cue ball. Made the black very awkward angle. He can pot the black, but the pink is the easier pot of the two. Was hoping to cannon the blue, which would have left him straight red to
60.
left corner with the full face of the pocket to go at to clinch the frame. Still has an alternative frame ball. Struck to the heart of the pocket.
Steve Maguire, 61.
Which should be enough to give Maguire a 9-5 lead.
It was. Maguire forged on to 12-8, but Swail won't be giving up the ghost just yet. Now commentating, it's Neil Folds and Willie Paul.
Well, it was an absolutely brilliant shot, and I mean, it wasn't really a shot to nothing, because as you saw, he went straight into the red. Beautiful shot. Wasn't quite coming back to baulk with that red in the way. Now it has kissed the red. It's perfect on the blue. Tremendous shot.
If he's straight on the blue, I can't quite tell from here. Just stop the cue ball where the blue is and play the red in the baulk area over the green spot. Doesn't have to get it to the black end immediately. Just coming round now to look at that angle on the red in baulk. I think that's as good as anything. Leave the cue ball where the blue is. Then pop maybe brown off the next red and back up to this end.
$6.
That's the first, what I would
Joe
call a
Swail
twitch or a snatch. Joe never got into that cue ball at all. He got very anxious on the shot and a lot of movement and missed it by a long way. Steve Maguire, if he knocks this red in, he's got a good chance of winning frame and match.
$1.
No, this is a chance. This is a chance for frame and match.
Yes, it rates a great chance to close out the match.
6. 7.
Not been cueing quite as well today as he did in the sessions we saw yesterday in this match. Joe has been in control, but the last shot didn't quite get the cue ball in the middle, I don't think.
$13. 14.
See Maguire now, I'm sure in his own mind, just thinking, well,
20.
just take my time here. I should get 40 or 50 points without too many problems. The black's in a good position as well, so he doesn't have to worry about that for a moment. Get onto that at any stage.
21.
If this wasn't the frame to win the match, you would say it'd be almost a good thing to win it from here, but there's going to be a little bit of nerves at some stage when he gets near the post. He really dug deep and was perhaps a little
27.
unfortunate not to have had a chance to win the opening 4 frames in
28.
this session to close to 11-9. Just a series of little stuns and screws gives Stephen Maguire now a chance to win the frame and that at this visit.
35. 41. 42.
'From 11-5, Joe Swail had breaks of 82, 72, 56 and 77 to get back into the match slightly. So this is a really good
48.
effort from Stephen Maguire. Break of 61 in winning the frame before the mid-session interval. 48 and counting now. And just when he
49.
needed it most, he's dug very deep and
Settle
found a
down
little bit of
here,
form.
Interesting that his highest break in the match is 104, which is a lot more than the man at the table now, who's only made 61. He might beat it here. But he is a big break builder, this young man, and breaks
55.
haven't really come in the match for him. He's played solidly without ever really playing to his best, I don't think.
56.
1 more red required. Needs to force the pink a little bit to widen the angle of the cue ball. There you see the force, but has he got wide? He hasn't. The 1 more red is not on unless he plays the double. Unless he can get through the gap, but I don't think the red passes the
62.
black, so I don't think he's on a red. May have to play safe, or guaranteed to play safe.
Stephen Maguire, 62.
So Joe will come back to the table at least. It looked for a while that he wouldn't. But the shot he's left with is a horrible one, really, queuing over the brown. 55 behind, not looking great. Well, the red is the problem here, just coming up the table. Did okay to get the cue ball back, but he's obviously going to go for this red, is Maguire. Well, he knew straight away it was in.
Six.
Lead is 61 and counting, with not enough balls left on the table.
7.
Joe Swail has been a credit to himself in this tournament, as per usual. Lovely win over Mark
Steve
Williams.
Maguire, 14.
But he's need to warmly congratulate his opponent, Steve Maguire, who's played solid snooker and progresses through to the quarter-final stage. Well, Anthony Hamilton, Maguire wins 13 frames to 8.